3 years, one hospital bracelet, and $91,742. That was the number glowing on my banking app when I stopped outside St. Aurelia Medical Center and told myself that suffering could mean something if you stacked enough of it together. 3 years of night shifts, 3 years of instant noodles, 3 years of saying, I'm fine, when I was hungry, exhausted, and one bill away from breaking. All of it was for Lina Park, the woman I loved, the woman who told me she needed surgery to survive. The envelope in my hand held the final transfer confirmation, the invoices, the printed approvals, and every document Lina had told me to bring. I had checked it 6 times on the bus and twice more before crossing the street. Nobody tells you heartbreak can happen under clean hospital lights, between a coffee machine and a donation poster, while a receptionist smiles at you like nothing in the world has gone wrong yet. St. Aurelia smelled like disinfectant, expensive flowers, and money pretending to be compassion. There were marble floors, soft music, and a huge screen above reception, flashing words like hope, care, and tomorrow. Good morning, the receptionist said. How can I help you? I'm here to make the final payment for Lina Park's surgery. Could you repeat the patient's full name? Lina Park, I said. Lina Min Park. The procedure should be under oncology reconstruction. Dr. Weiss signed the estimate 6 months ago. There is no surgery scheduled under that name. No, there has to be. Maybe it's under the charity extension plan. She said the appointment was today. Sir, she said softly, there are old consultation records, but no active treatment plan. No pending surgery. No preoperative file. No, I said. Are you family? 3 years of hospital rides, medicine pickups, rent payments, emergency calls, panic attacks at 2 in the morning, and the little blue bracelet Lina wore whenever she said the pain was getting worse. I turned and saw Lina. Not wrapped in the beige cardigan I bought because hospital rooms were always too cold. Beside her was Adrian Kwan. I knew his face from the articles Lina used to send me. His hand rested lightly at Lina's lower back, and Lina smiled. Miss Park, after everything you've been through, what does today mean to you? Lina placed one hand over her heart. It means hope, she said. It means that with the right people beside you, even the darkest chapter can become the beginning of something meaningful. Adrian smiled beside her. Miss Park, he asked, who is this man to you? Lina looked at me. He's just someone who helped me during a difficult phase, she said. Not Noah. Not the man who worked until his hands shook so I could afford to breathe. The envelope slipped in my hand. Adrian's eyes moved over me. Hospital envelope. He understood faster than I did. He stepped closer to Lina and smiled at the cameras. We're grateful for everyone who supported Lina's journey, he said. But today is about the future, not the past. I looked at Lina's wrist. The blue medical bracelet was gone. For 3 years, that bracelet had been proof when doubt tried to crawl into my head, when she needed money for injections. I had kissed that bracelet once. Lina's eyes narrowed. Noah, she said under her breath. Not here. Was any of it real? Adrian gave a soft laugh. Maybe this should be handled privately. Was there ever a surgery? Lina's lips parted. Then she looked at the cameras, looked at Adrian, looked at me, and chose the version of herself with the most witnesses. Noah, she said gently, you were kind to me during a hard time. But kindness is not a contract. Kindness is not a contract. You told me you were dying. I told you I was struggling. You sent me hospital bills. You offered to help. I worked 3 years, and I never forced you to. Adrian leaned closer, lowering his voice just enough that the microphones might not catch it. Men like you are useful because you don't ask questions. The hand still near Lina's waist. Lina touched his sleeve. Adrian, don't. The receptionist behind me whispered, Sir, are you okay? Noah, Lina said. Instead, she said, Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I nodded once and walked into the side corridor where patients' families waited when they had nowhere else to put their fear. I bought one because my hands needed something to do. Pain was useful when it was honest. Inside my palm was the little blue medical bracelet, the spare one she had given me, laughing weakly, saying, Keep it, so you'll remember what you're fighting for. No avail? A woman asked. Who is this? Victoria Hahn. Everyone knew that name. Han Medical Group owned half the private hospitals in the city, including the building I was sitting in. If this is about me making a scene downstairs, I'm leaving. It is not. Then what do you want? I want you on the 37th floor. Your name is on every report they tried to bury. I looked at the bracelet in my hand. What reports? The ones that prove Lina Park was never the patient, Noah. Coffee in one hand, blue bracelet in the other. I looked exactly like what Adrian thought I was, a man useful enough to exploit, but not important enough to fear. Victoria had not hung up. You're still there, I said. Yes. Why? Because people often run when they are close to the truth. I'm not close to the truth. I don't even know what the truth is. You know more than you think. No. What I know is that my girlfriend lied about dying, used me for money, and publicly turned me into a stranger. That is the personal part, Victoria said. And the other part? The part that can put people in prison. The 37th floor did not look like a hospital. It looked like the place hospitals answered to. Mr. Vale, Ms. Hahn is waiting. Noah was what Lina said when she needed something. Victoria Hahn stood in a glass office overlooking the city. She wore a charcoal suit, no necklace, only a thin silver watch. Her hair was pulled back neatly, and her face had the kind of calm that made other people check themselves before speaking. No avail, she said. Victoria Hahn. You look worse than your file suggested. Nice to meet you too. Sit down. I'd rather stand. No, you wouldn't. Victoria placed a tablet in front of me. At the bottom of the first page was my signature. Oncology Support Records to External Review Unit. I signed for boxes, I said. That's all. I know. Then why am I here? You were the only courier willing to take late transfers between St. Aurelia and the old records warehouse, Victoria said. I needed the overtime. Yes, and because you needed the overtime, they used you. They. Adrian Kwan's foundation, the billing managers helping him, whoever approved the files that should never have left this building. I don't understand. Victoria enlarged one document. Look at the patient names. Peter Vale. That's my father's name. Your father died 8 years ago. How do you know that? Because his name appeared in a billing file last year for an experimental treatment that cost $42,000. My father was never treated here. No. He died in County General. Yes. And someone used his name. His name, his old insurance number, and a forged consent record. I thought of my father's last hospital room, the vending machine coffee my mother cried into, and now his name had been dragged back into a hospital system to steal money from the living. Victoria let me sit with it for 5 seconds. This is why I called you. I saw Lina Park. Beside her name was not a patient number. She wasn't a patient. No, she was part of the campaign. Yes, all those bills she showed me? Some were altered from real templates, some were fabricated. Several used the names of deceased or discharged patients. She told me the hospital discount only applied if payments went through private accounts first. Victoria's face did not change. Show me. 3 years of Lina's voice appeared in text form. Noah, the clinic needs another deposit. Noah, I'm scared. Noah, please don't tell anyone. Adrian knows someone who can help reduce the bill. If we miss this payment, they'll cancel everything. A photo of Lina's wrist with the blue bracelet. Victoria noticed the bracelet in my hand. May I see that? Marin, scan patient band code SA 11907 blue. No, not active. Historical inventory. Origin, batch, department, and disposal status. What is it? I asked. A pediatric visitor bracelet. No. It was never an oncology patient band. No. She wore it during appointments. She may have worn it in a hospital. That does not make it hers. The sentence hit harder than I expected, because that was what Lina had done with everything. What do you need from me? I asked. Victoria sat across from me. I need your messages, transfer records, memory of where you carried certain files, names you saw, rooms you entered, anything Lina told you about payments. I was just a courier. No. You were the person they counted on being too tired to notice. Day after day, I sent Lina money with my name on the transfers. Victoria leaned back. Adrian Kwan is holding a presentation downstairs in 40 minutes. He intends to announce a partnership between his foundation and Han Medical Group. But your Han Medical Group? Yes. And you're still letting him present? I am letting him stand in front of every investor, journalist, and partner he invited. You're going to expose him publicly. I am going to ask questions publicly. That sounds nicer. It records better. Then I remembered Lina downstairs. What about Lina? That depends on what the evidence proves. She knew enough. Victoria watched me carefully. Can you say that as a witness, not as a wounded man? I can show messages where she gave payment instructions, dates, amounts, accounts, 2 doctors' names, the first time Adrian's company appeared in a transfer memo, and I can identify archive boxes because I photographed labels whenever delivery managers tried to blame me for missing files. Victoria's eyes changed slightly. Good, she said. Lina. Noah, where are you? For 3 years, I had answered Lina like a man afraid of losing her. I loved the girl who needed surgery. That was the first message I sent like a man who already had. Lina read it immediately. Now I watched the dots move and felt nothing useful enough to name. I showed Victoria. Good. Good? She is not apologizing. She is correcting you. She still thinks she has authority over you. Noah, I know today was hard for you, but calm down. Adrian is very upset. Adrian was upset. Victoria turned her tablet toward me. Send those to Marin. All messages from today, then the payment instructions from the last 3 years. Not because I wanted to protect Lina. If I handed them over, the memories would stop being memories. They would become evidence. Victoria understood without me explaining. You can grieve later. Right now, preserve the chain. The chain. Evidence chain. Timeline. Payments. Instructions. Names. If you wait, people downstairs will start deleting things. After the 20th file, Victoria stood by the window. Far below, Workers arranged chairs under a white event tent. A banner stretched across the entrance. Kwan Foundation Ex-Han Medical Group. Victoria did not turn around. Tell me about Adrian Kwan. You probably know more than I do. I know what he wants people to believe. Tell me what Lina told you. She said he was brilliant. She admired him? She pretended not to. I remembered Lina curled under a blanket, scrolling through articles about Adrian's startup. Some people are just born for bigger rooms, she once said. She said he was proof the world rewarded vision, I said. And what were you? I was proof that loyalty was convenient. Victoria nodded. Did she mention the Kwan Foundation before today? She said Adrian found a way to move her into a private support program. But there were gaps insurance wouldn't touch. Support program, not charity program. Support program. Good. Their public wording is Charity Access Initiative. If she used different wording with you, they may have had a private script for payment targets. Victoria looked at it. Don't answer on speaker yet. Record first. You think it's Adrian. I think men like Adrian prefer other people to clean their messes. But when they panic, they touch things themselves. Hello? Then Adrian. Noah, right? I think we got off on the wrong foot downstairs. Victoria lifted one finger. You mean when you called me useful? Look, emotions were high. Lina should have handled this better. She has been under pressure, he continued. Public life is complicated. People misunderstand things. I understood the part where there was no surgery. You don't want to make accusations you can't support. I asked a question. And I'm giving advice. Why? Because Lina feels bad for you. For 3 years, I had lived on Lina feeling bad. Victoria shook her head once, so I said, That's generous of her. Adrian exhaled. Walk away today and I'll make sure you're taken care of. What does taken care of mean? It means you don't embarrass yourself. You're obviously upset. Nobody downstairs wants this to become a story about a rejected man harassing a woman at a medical event. You said Lina felt bad for me, I said. Is that why she told reporters I was just someone who helped her? You were someone who helped her. For 3 years. Some people are helpers, Noah. There is nothing wrong with that. The world works because people know their roles. Lina has a future. I have responsibilities. You had a place in her story for a while. Be proud of that. Did my money have a place too? Careful. With what? With confusing gifts and obligations. Lina had used offered. Adrian used gifts. I transferred money to accounts Lina gave me for medical expenses. Were those gifts? I'm not her accountant. But you knew. Victoria tapped the desk once. Adrian recovered. I know Lina cared about you enough to let you feel useful. When I opened them, Victoria was watching. Thank you, I said. Adrian sounded confused. For what? For explaining my role. I stopped the recording and placed the phone on Victoria's desk. Marin, Victoria's assistant, appeared with a laptop. We captured it. Victoria nodded. Transcribe it. Flag rejected man, harassing, gifts, let you feel useful and careful. I looked at Victoria. Is that enough? No, but it helps. He just confirmed he is building a public defamation angle. That means he knows there is something to hide. Why call me himself? Because Lina told him you were weak. She would not have let him call if she thought you were dangerous, Victoria said. Victoria opened the presentation schedule. 1:07 p.m. Patient recovery story. 1:15 p.m. Kwan Foundation impact report. 1:25 p.m. Han Medical Group partnership announcement. Lina, I said. Yes. She's going to stand there and tell people she recovered. Yes. But she was never sick. That is why you will listen carefully. If she repeats the lie publicly, it changes what we can prove. Victoria Han was not trying to embarrass Adrian. I don't know if I can watch her do that. Victoria placed a sealed bottle of water in front of me. You can. You don't know that. I do. You already survived the private version. The public version is just lighting. I looked at the bracelet on her desk. You should keep that, Victoria said. I don't want it. That is not the same thing. This is proof. It is also a reminder. Of what? That compassion without boundaries becomes unpaid labor. That sounds like a very cold motivational poster. It would sell. Ms. Han, Kwan's team wants confirmation you'll appear on stage for the partnership announcement. Victoria checked her watch. How long? 26 minutes. Victoria looked at me. Mr. Vale, you have 26 minutes to decide whether you are ready to stop being someone who helped during a difficult phase. Downstairs, Lina was preparing to tell a room full of people the story I had paid for. Adrian was preparing to sell it. Victoria was preparing to cut it open. For 3 years, I had been useful in silence. Maybe it was time to be useful out loud. I put the bracelet in my pocket. What do you need me to do? Victoria's answer changed. First, she said, we teach you how to answer without sounding hurt. That might be difficult. No, hurt is easy. Everyone expects hurt from you. What they won't expect is precision. That was the word Victoria gave me like a weapon. If Lina says you were obsessed, you do not say, I loved her. Love sounds unstable when the other side is selling you as dangerous. You say, I made payments based on medical documentation she provided. Then you show records. If Adrian says the money was a gift, you do not say, she lied. You say, each transfer was requested for a stated medical purpose. Then you show the message attached to the transfer. If they say you are bitter because Lina left you, you do not defend your feelings. What do I defend? The timeline. Lina. Noah, please. You are making this bigger than it is. Adrian says if you stop now, he can still help you. Victoria watched my face. What are you thinking? She still hasn't said sorry. Good. Why good? Because you noticed the absence instead of chasing the possibility. Maybe Lina was scared. They're starting. Victoria stood. Inside were messages, transfers, the bracelet scan, my father's stolen billing record, and Lina's campaign file. I touched my father's name. Peter Vale. My father had been a mechanic. Mr. Vale, Victoria said, we are going downstairs. To the presentation? To the room beside it. You are not walking onto that stage because you are emotional. You are walking in when the evidence needs a voice. A new era of compassionate medical access. K1 Foundation. Exhan Medical Group. Victoria led me into a smaller side room separated by tinted glass. We could see the stage. Adrian walked on stage first. Adrian looked like trust with a haircut. Thank you all for being here, he said. Today is not about technology alone. It is about dignity. It is about people who fall through the cracks of a medical system that should protect them. And today, I want to introduce someone whose courage reminds us why this work matters. And Lina walked onto the stage. Lina on my couch, pretending the light hurt her eyes. Lina holding my sleeve outside a clinic. Lina whispering, I'm scared, Noah. Lina saying, When I survive this, I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. No bracelet. Adrian touched her shoulder. Lina Park is more than a survivor. She is proof that access changes lives. Victoria said quietly, "Do not react to adjectives." Lina stepped to the microphone. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. I was young, terrified, and facing a diagnosis I did not know how to survive. There were days I could not get out of bed. Days when I felt like a burden. Days when I wondered if the world had moved on without me. Watching her laugh at Adrian's video 5 minutes later, then become weak again when I asked about the bill. Victoria told me to breathe. On stage, Lina placed a hand over her heart. But I was fortunate. I was surrounded by kindness, by people who believed my life was worth saving. Not yet, Victoria said. Then Lina smiled. There were also ordinary people who helped along the way. People whose kindness reminded me that even strangers can become part of a healing journey. Adrian returned to the microphone. Thank you, Lina. Your strength inspires all of us. 91,742. Community Microdonor Support Impact. Victoria caught my arm. That's my money. Yes. They called me a microdonor. No. They called many people microdonors. That is how they hide individual victims inside noble language. Marin entered and handed Victoria a note. Victoria passed it to me. Audit team confirms. 3 of your transfers entered the foundation ledger under anonymous community donor batch. That word did what Lina's speech had failed to do. They had taken the money, work, nights, hunger, fear, love, and washed my name off it so it could decorate their stage. I looked at Victoria. I can answer without sounding hurt now. Good. On stage, Adrian smiled wider. And now, it is my honor to invite Ms. Victoria Hahn to join us for the official partnership announcement. Victoria smoothed one sleeve. Stay behind me until I call your name. You're calling my name? Not yet. When? When the lie needs a witness. Noah. Do not try to look strong. Strong men are easy to challenge. Accurate men are difficult to survive. The applause changed when the audience saw her. Adrian's smile held, but only because cameras were watching. Victoria took the microphone. Thank you, Mr. Kwan. I was especially interested in your impact report. Adrian laughed lightly. We're very proud of it. You should be, Victoria said. It contains several numbers I have been trying to find all morning. Adrian's smile tightened. I'm glad our team could provide transparency. Victoria looked at the screen. Yes, let's discuss that transparency. Your report states that the Kwan Foundation processed $3.8 million in patient access support over 18 months, Victoria said. Correct. And a portion came from community micro-donor channels. Yes. Ordinary people want to participate in healing. Can you define community micro-donor channels? Adrian glanced toward someone in the front row. Small-scale contributions from individuals who support recovery journeys, often through private giving networks. Many prefer to remain anonymous. Anonymous by choice? Typically, yes. Typically, Victoria repeated. Lina moved for the first time. Not toward Victoria, toward Adrian. Victoria continued. Let's discuss one donor batch, C-MD-742. Adrian's face did not change. Lina's did. The report states that this batch consisted of multiple small donor contributions for recovery ambassador support, totaling $91,742. Adrian blinked once. It's possible. I don't have every batch memorized. Understandable. Would you mind opening the supporting ledger? That ledger may contain private donor information. But you explained the donor's preferred anonymity. Privacy? Privacy should protect donors from exposure, Victoria said, not institutions from verification. Adrian's fingers tightened around the microphone. I agree in principle. However, we should handle sensitive documents through proper internal process. Excellent, Victoria said. I began that process this morning. Ledger extract, Community Microdonor Batch C-MD-742. Then Victoria zoomed in. Destination, Kwan Foundation Medical Access Channel. Linked contact, Lina Park. Adrian moved half a step. Ms. Han, displaying private financial records without context is irresponsible. You submitted this ledger to my acquisition review team 3 weeks ago. My team did not steal your ledger, Mr. Kwan. Your team gave it to us because you wanted our money. The ledger identifies payments from a private individual grouped into an anonymous donor batch, Victoria said. The individual was not told he was making charitable contributions. He was told he was paying medical expenses. Adrian hardened. This sounds personal. It is financial. Sometimes private relationships create misunderstandings around financial support. We cannot be responsible for every personal arrangement between individuals. Exactly the one Victoria had been waiting for. Then let's ask the individual. My hand tightened around the folder. Then Victoria said, Mr. Noah Vale. Hospital executives, and Lina. Adrian looked at me with disbelief. He had called me useful. He had not considered that useful things can be used against you. I remembered Victoria's instruction. A staff member handed me a microphone. Victoria asked, Mr. Vale, did you authorize the Kwan Foundation to classify your payments as anonymous charitable donations? No. Why did you make those payments? I made them because Lina Park told me she needed surgery. Adrian cut in. Again, this is a private matter, and I feel for Mr. Vale's emotional position. Victoria interrupted with frightening politeness. Mr. Kwan, you will have time to respond after he answers. What kind of surgery did she describe? Victoria asked me. Oncology-related reconstruction, sometimes tumor removal, sometimes follow-up after complications. Details changed. Urgency did not. Did she provide documents? Yes. Did you bring them? Yes. The screen changed. One of Lina's invoices appeared behind me. The same one I had stared at in my apartment at 2:13 a.m., trying to decide whether I could sell my father's old watch without telling my mother. Victoria asked, Is this one of the documents Ms. Park sent? Yes. When? March 3rd. For what purpose? A preoperative deposit. And where were you instructed to send payment? To an account she said was connected to a private hospital support program. The transfer record appeared beside the invoice, ending inside the Kwan Foundation ledger. Adrian raised his microphone. That proves nothing except that Mr. Vale voluntarily transferred money. She told me I was saving her life. I did not donate to your foundation. I did not invest in your campaign. I did not sponsor your presentation. I paid because the woman I loved told me she might die. Lina looked down. Victoria asked, Did Miss Park tell you she was a public recovery ambassador for Kwan Foundation? No. That your payments would be pooled under community donor support? No. That your name would be removed? No. That she was not scheduled for surgery? No. Victoria faced the audience. St. Aurelia confirmed this morning that Lina Park has no active surgery schedule, no preoperative file, and no oncology reconstruction treatment plan. Adrian lifted a hand. Patient privacy laws prevent us from discussing personal medical details in public. I agree, Victoria said. That is why I am not discussing her medical details. I am discussing the absence of a patient record used to solicit funds. That changed everything. A fake patient was not privacy. It was fraud. Lina finally spoke. Noah, please. She stepped forward, eyes wet, hands trembling. The performance changed costumes. I never meant for any of this to become public. Victoria let her continue. Lina looked at me. You know what I was going through. The way her voice changed when she needed money. I know what you told me, I said. Lina flinched. Adrian moved closer. This is turning into a personal attack against a woman who has already endured enough. Victoria looked at him. Endured what, specifically? Adrian froze. A message from Lina, then handed the phone to Victoria. A few seconds later, Lina's message appeared on the screen behind us. For 1 second, Lina was completely silent. Just Lina. Adrian moved first. This is inappropriate, he said, stepping in front of her. Private messages displayed without consent? This is not transparency. This is a spectacle. Victoria looked at him. Correct. It became a spectacle when your foundation invited press, investors, hospital partners, and cameras to hear a recovery story that appears to have been used to solicit funds. Adrian turned to me. Mr. Vale, I understand you are hurt, but you are accusing a woman you once loved because she moved on. Useful man when quiet. Now it hit the folder in my hand and fell flat. I am not accusing her because she moved on. I am asking why money I sent for surgery was entered into your foundation ledger as anonymous donor support. Financial classifications can be complex. Then explain them. Adrian looked at me like I had answered from the wrong class. Victoria lifted her remote. We will review documents instead. The screen changed. Patient Access Recovery Program. Flagged records. Peter Vale. My father's name looked wrong up there. Now fraud had borrowed him. Victoria said, Let's begin with Peter Vale. The screen displayed a billing file. Patient. Peter Vale. Under it was a scanned signature. My father's name, not his handwriting. My father's real signature was large, impatient, slanted right like he was already walking away from the paper. Mr. Vale, Victoria asked, is Peter Vale related to you? He was my father. Was he treated at St. Aurelia Medical Center last year? No. Why not? Because he died 8 years ago. Fake surgery was one thing. Victoria turned to Adrian. Can you explain why a deceased man appears in your recovery billing pipeline? Adrian opened his mouth. Our foundation processes data submitted by multiple external partners. If an outdated record was accidentally digitally authorized? Victoria asked. The forged signature appeared larger. Who authorized this? I cannot know that from one file. Then let's look at more than one. 3 files appeared side by side. Victoria highlighted it. Does this liaison code belong to your foundation? Adrian said nothing. Finally, I would need to verify. I have. K-17, Lina Park. Role, Recovery Ambassador/Patient Liaison. Access level, Campaign Support. Lina looked at the screen, then at Adrian. Adrian's hand moved toward her wrist. Lina's role was public-facing, Adrian said quickly. She had no financial authority. Victoria tilted her head. No one said she did. Worse than accusation. Victoria turned to Lina. Ms. Park, did you use access code K-17? Lina's lips parted. Her eyes flicked to Adrian. Victoria let the silence turn his movement into evidence. I don't know what that code is, Lina said. Victoria clicked the remote. Device location. Kwan Foundation Media Office. User label. Lina Park. Patient file exports. Export. Peter Vale billing packet. My hands went cold. 2 months ago, while I was still sending Lina money. 2 months ago, her access code had opened a fake file under my dead father's name. Adrian stepped in. Credentials can be shared. Devices can be misused. So your position is that Ms. Park's credentials were misused? Victoria asked. If he said yes, he blamed Lina's account and admitted a breach. If no, Lina stayed tied to the files. My position is that this is not the appropriate venue. Victoria smiled slightly. Mr. Kwan, you built this venue. Marin handed Victoria another document. Victoria read it once, then looked at me. There is more. Not so much that the world becomes uglier than you can carry. The screen changed to a message thread between Lina Park and Adrian Kwan. Lina. Noah can cover the next deposit, but he's asking more questions. Adrian. Then make it urgent. Lina. I already used the pain episode last week. Adrian. Use fear, not pain. Fear pays faster. Lina. He trusts me. Adrian. That's why he's useful. That's why he's useful. Adrian snapped. Those messages are fabricated. They were recovered from a device your foundation submitted for data migration during partnership review, Victoria said. Impossible. No. Careless. Adrian tried to regain control. This is a smear campaign led by a corporate competitor. Victoria looked almost bored. Your model bills dead patients, launders private transfers into anonymous donor batches, and uses a staged recovery ambassador to solicit emotional payments from targets. I am comfortable competing with something better. Not because Victoria saved me. Then Lina stepped forward. I didn't know about Peter. Adrian turned. Lina. What did you know? Victoria asked. Lina looked at the audience. I knew Noah was sending money. I knew there wasn't a surgery scheduled. But Adrian said it was temporary. He said the foundation needed private bridge funding until the partnership came through. He said Noah would be paid back later. Adrian moved toward her. Stop talking. Victoria's voice cut through. Let her answer. Adrian snapped, You have no authority here. Victoria turned her head. Not hospital security. I own the building, she said calmly. Adrian stared at her. Lina covered her mouth. I didn't know about his father, she whispered. But Victoria had trained me. Did you know there was no surgery? Lina looked at me. Yes. Inside me, the last version of Lina Park died without drama. Adrian grabbed her arm. We're leaving. No. Adrian's face twisted. You stupid. Victoria's eyes sharpened. Finish the sentence, Mr. Kwan. Victoria faced the audience. Han Medical Group will not enter any partnership with the Kwan Foundation. Effective immediately, we are referring these documents to financial crimes investigators, hospital compliance authorities, and the district attorney's office. Adrian stepped toward her. This is corporate assassination. No, Victoria said. She looked at the ledger, at the messages, at my father's name. This is accounting. Adrian heard it. Not useful, as the small, tired, ordinary person whose records had opened the floor beneath him. Mr. Kwan, did you know? Miss Park, were you ever diagnosed? Ms. Han, when did the audit begin? Mr. Vale, how much money did you send? Thanked vaguely. Now strangers wanted my truth because it had become useful to them too. Victoria stepped in front of me. Mr. Vale will not answer press questions at this time. Can you confirm whether you were romantically involved with Miss Park? Victoria looked at her. You just heard evidence of medical and financial fraud, and that is your first question. Adrian argued near the stairs with two men from his team and Victoria's security. Nothing leaves this room without legal review, he snapped. No one releases documents. But the live stream! Adrian turned. What live stream? The press feed. Your team approved it. For the first time, Adrian Kwan looked genuinely ill. The kind that starts when evidence has already outrun you. Across the stage, Lina stood alone. 5 minutes earlier, she had been between Adrian's hand and the audience's sympathy. Even Adrian's anger had moved on to more expensive problems. Victoria leaned close. Do not speak to her alone. She's going to try. Yes. She already admitted it. To the room. Not to you. What is the difference? A confession to an audience can be strategy. A confession to the victim can become a hook. Lina walked toward me. Noah, she said, can we talk somewhere private? No, Victoria said. Lina's face tightened. I wasn't asking you. You should have been, Victoria replied. For a second, the old Lina flashed through. Noah, please. I know you hate me right now. I don't know what I feel, I said, but I know what you did. I was scared. Scared meant send money. Of what? She looked at Adrian. Of him. Victoria's attention sharpened. Lina stepped into the opening. At first, it was just a story for the campaign. Adrian said every foundation needs a face people can care about. He said I was good on camera. He said no one would get hurt. No one? I asked. I didn't think of it that way. People like Lina rarely think of harm as harm when it happens to someone useful. You asked me for money. I know. You sent fake invoices. I know. You wore a fake hospital bracelet. That part was Adrian's idea. The bracelet in my pocket seemed to burn. Victoria asked, did Adrian instruct you to use medical props to solicit private funds? Lina looked at her. I'm not saying anything without a lawyer. That is the first intelligent decision you have made today, Victoria said. Lina flinched. Noah, I know you think I'm a monster. I don't think about monsters. What? Monsters know they're cruel. You convinced yourself you were surviving. Some truths should have teeth. I was trying to build a life, she whispered. With my money. With his pressure. With my father's name? I didn't know about Peter, I swear. You knew about me. Around us, press shouted, security moved, investigators entered. I did care about you, she said. No, I said. You cared that I stayed. You cared that I answered. You cared that I paid. I was going to pay you back. When? After the partnership? After Adrian got funding? After the fake patients? After my father finished earning interest? For years, Lina's tears had been a fire alarm in my body. Adrian's voice rose behind us. This is unlawful detainment. I am leaving. He pushed toward the side exit, phone in hand. Victoria did not raise her voice. Mr. Kwan, you may leave whenever law enforcement permits it. Adrian laughed. You are not law enforcement. No, but they are. 2 uniformed officers entered with a plainclothes investigator. Adrian's face emptied. He turned toward Lina. You talked. I didn't. You stupid little... Adrian stopped inches away from me. You think this makes you important? No, I said. It makes me accurate. For 1 second, Victoria's words stood between us like a shield. Adrian wanted to hit me. Victoria's security moved before he could decide whether ruining himself further was worth it. The investigator approached. Adrian Kwan, we need to ask questions regarding financial records submitted through the Kwan Foundation. Adrian was guided away, still threatening lawsuits. The investigator turned to Lina. Lina Park, we'll need to speak with you as well. Lina looked at me. I'm sorry, she whispered. Too small for my father's name. I know, I said. After Lina disappeared through the side doors, the conference hall felt larger. Adrian was gone too. Victoria spoke with the investigator. Marin handed over copies. Hospital compliance officers arrived with pale faces and identical folders. Everyone had a job now. For 3 years, my job had been simple. Keep Lina alive. Financial records. Message thread. Patient fraud. Internal access. Foundation misconduct. None had space for the feeling of seeing your father's forged signature 12 feet tall on a screen. Victoria returned. You handled yourself well. I don't feel like I handled anything. That is common. With people who expose fraud. With people who survive being used. That sounds like a large department. It is. What happens now? Investigators review the evidence. Han Medical Group suspends all agreements with Quan Foundation. Compliance audits every connected file. Your attorney prepares civil claims. My attorney? Yes. I can't pay for... You are not paying. You said that already. You looked ready to argue again. What happens to Lina? Victoria did not judge me. That depends on how much she knew, what she signed, and whether she cooperates. She knew there was no surgery. Yes. She used me. Yes. So why do I still care? Because betrayal does not erase attachment instantly. It gives your mind a reason your body has not accepted yet. That was almost comforting. I'll avoid that in the future. Victoria asked, Do you need a moment? Yes. Take one. They recover faster than people. A child pressed both hands against the aquarium glass. Her expression changed. Hospitals move information without admitting anything moves. Mr. Vale, she said softly. I'm sorry. Maybe it was the hospital version. Can I leave something here? I asked. The blue bracelet lay across my palm. That isn't an oncology band, she said quietly. I know. It was from visitor services. Pediatric wing uses blue for day passes. A visitor bracelet. Something handed out by the dozen. Would you like me to dispose of it? I almost handed it over. No, not yet. Maybe I needed a better ending than a trash can. The digital screen had changed. Quan Foundation was gone. In its place was a general message about patient privacy and care integrity. People could remove a fraudulent partner from a screen in minutes. It had taken me 3 years to remove Lina from the place where I kept my future. Foundations. My money had appeared as anonymous micro-donor support, my father as a fake patient. Lina had called me someone. Not Lina. My mother. Mom. Noah? Her voice was already worried. Are you okay? I got a strange call from a hospital number about your father. And then I saw something online, but I don't understand. I'm safe, I said first. Safe from what? I looked at the bracelet. I found out something bad today. What happened? There was no surgery. Then her voice changed. Oh, Noah. Because mothers know the shape of a wound before you hand them the name. I'm sorry, I said. For what? For believing her, I guess. No, my mother said sharply. You do not apologize for believing someone you loved. The shame belongs to the person who made love unsafe. The bracelet dug into my palm. I used Dad's watch money, I whispered. Oh, honey. I was going to buy it back. I thought after her surgery, after things got better, your father would be furious. At me? At them. I leaned one hand against the donation wall. My mother stayed quiet, not the dramatic kind Lina performed. They used his name, I said. I know. They forged something. I know. I should have noticed. No. You were loving someone. That is not the same as auditing them. Victoria stood there. My mother asked, "Are you alone?" I looked at Victoria, then the folder in my hand. "No," I said. "Good," my mother said. "Stay that way." When the call ended, I opened my hand. The bracelet had left a red line across my palm. Victoria approached. "Your mother? She sounds formidable." "She is." I looked at the bracelet. I thought throwing this away would make me feel better. Would it? No. What would? I thought as Noah Vale, son of Peter Vale. "I want it in the evidence file," I said. Victoria nodded. "As what?" "Fraudulent medical prop used to solicit funds." Victoria held out her hand. I placed the bracelet in her palm. It felt like returning stolen property to the truth. She slipped it into an evidence envelope and wrote, "Fraudulent medical prop used to solicit funds. Provided by Noah Vale. Not anonymous. Noah Vale." I sat between Victoria's attorney and an investigator named Reyes. Victoria waited outside the glass panel. "Please state your full name." Peter Vale on a forged file. Lina Park on a fake recovery story. Adrian Kwan on a foundation built from lies. Anonymous donor where I should have been. Noah Vale. I told them about the first message. The bracelet. The night I sold my father's watch. The invoices. The way the story changed, but the need stayed the same. The two doctors Lina mentioned. The first time Adrian's foundation appeared in a payment memo. Men like you are useful because you don't ask questions. When we reached my father's file, my voice finally broke. "I know the signature is forged," I said. "My father didn't sign like that." "How can you tell?" My dad hated paperwork. He signed fast, tilted right, first letter too big. Like he wanted the paper to get out of his way. "Thank you, Mr. Vale." "Thank you. Thanks for covering the shift. Thanks for sending the money. Thanks for understanding." "What happens now?" "We investigate. We follow the accounts. We verify patient records. We interview Park, Kwan, foundation staff, hospital personnel, anyone tied to access codes." "And Lina?" "She has exposure." Victoria would have liked it. Outside, Victoria ended her call when she saw me. "How did it go?" I said everything. That is rarely everything, but it is enough for today. Two workers carried away a stand that had held Adrian's smiling photograph. The empty space looked cleaner than the picture ever had. Kwan Foundation partnership suspended amid fraud questions. Han Medical Group refers documents to investigators. Lina. Victoria saw me watching. "Do not read too much today." "That feels impossible." "It is possible. Just difficult. People confuse the two when exhausted." I had arrived that morning with an envelope and a future I thought belonged to Lina. Now I stood with no envelope, no girlfriend, no surgery, no fantasy, and somehow more truth than I had carried in years. Victoria stopped beside me. "There is one more matter. Please don't say another fraud file." "No." She handed me a slim, cream-colored envelope. "If this is money, I'm not taking it." "It is not money." "Good." "It is an offer." That sounds dangerously close. Han Medical Group. Temporary contract appointment. Compliance records review assistant. Compensation. Fair market contractor rate. "You're offering me a job?" "A temporary contract." That sounds like a job wearing a suit. It is work. Paid work. With boundaries, defined hours, and no emotional manipulation. Compliance records review assistant. The guy whose signatures had become a trail. "What makes you think I can do this?" "You already did." "I moved files." You remembered them. I photographed labels because managers blamed me for missing boxes. That is documentation. I noticed repeated codes because they annoyed me. That is pattern recognition. I only cared because Lina lied. No, Victoria said. You cared before you knew she lied. You just did not know caring could be aimed somewhere useful. I need time. Take it. When do you need an answer? After you sleep. That's the deadline. Medical recommendation. From you? From the owner of the building. Victoria's car pulled up outside. My driver can take you home. Or not. I can take the bus. You can. I should. Why? Because every ride Lina let me give became a debt. Because kindness had arrived with hooks so often that my hands still searched for strings. Victoria seemed to hear it anyway. A ride is not a contract, Mr. Vale. Kindness is not a contract, I said. Lina's words. Victoria nodded. No, but unlike Ms. Park, I understand consent. I'll take the ride, I said, but not because I need rescuing. I did not offer rescue. What did you offer? Transportation. Precision. Exactly. Before getting into the car, I looked back at St. Aurelia. Morning Noah had stood there with $91,000 and a lie. Afternoon, Noah stood there with no money returned yet, no justice finished, no heart repaired. But my name was on the evidence packet. My father's name was being restored to the truth. Lina's apology had arrived too late to own me. Adrian's smile was probably being replayed online beside the moment it died. And Victoria Hahn had not called me poor. She had called me Mr. Vale, then Noah, then useful in a way that did not make me smaller. I expected betrayal to change the skyline. It changed what you were willing to carry through it. My phone buzzed. Lina. One message. Please tell me we didn't end like this. My thumb hovered. Then I looked at the contract on my lap. No avail. I turned off the screen. I did not block Lina. But for the first time in 3 years, her message sat unanswered. Victoria did not ask what it said. I appreciated that more than I could explain. You should eat something. That's your closing advice. It is excellent advice. I helped expose a fraud scheme, gave a statement, found out my girlfriend faked a disease, and got offered a job by a billionaire. Your final wisdom is eat something? Yes. Victoria's expression softened. There is a diner near your address, she said. Terrible coffee. Good soup. How do you know my address? Your file. Of course. And the diner? My father liked it. Good soup sounds fine, I said. Behind us were lies, cameras, ledgers, plastic bracelets, and a woman who taught me the difference between being loved and being needed. Maybe the first honest day after a lie never is. Maybe it is just the day you finally stop paying for someone else's story and start reading the fine print on your own. For 3 years, I saved every dollar to keep Lina Park alive. In the end, there was no surgery, no illness, no miracle waiting at the finish line. But there was a number. 91,742. The cost of my belief, the price of my silence, the tuition for the cruelest lesson I had ever learned. And when Victoria Hahn called my name, she did not give me my money back. She gave me something stranger. A record, a witness, a door. And the first chance I had ever been given to walk through one without begging to be needed on the other side.